Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are diving deep into Dr. Stephen Hayes' book, A Liberated Mind, and it kicks off with a really radical idea. What if our constant attempts to find happiness are actually the very source of our suffering?
So let's just start with a pretty stark reality. Over the last few decades, we've seen this really dramatic shift. Back in 1990, depression was the fourth leading cause of disability across the globe. But as you can see here, by 2017, the World Health Organization ranked it as number one. Number one! Despite all of our incredible progress in so many areas, it's clear our inner worlds are in crisis.
This trend really forces us to ask a tough question. Yeah, we've gotten really good at extending the human lifespan, but have we actually improved the quality of the life that we're living? It really makes you wonder. To figure this out, we're going to start by looking at a huge paradox in how we think about mental health today, and, well, why our best efforts to just feel good so often backfire on us. I mean, think about it. Our culture is just saturated with this message, right? The path to a good life is paved with control. We're told constantly, manage this, suppress that, eliminate all your inner pain, and hey, maybe if you just buy the right thing or use the right technique, you'll finally be happy. But what if this whole strategy is just a giant trap? The book argues that the very act of fighting our thoughts is what gives them all their power. It's a total paradox. The more we struggle against our own minds, the stronger that struggle gets.
Okay, let's test this right now. For the next 10 seconds, I want you to do whatever you can to not think about a rich, delicious chocolate cake. You ready? Go. So, what happened? Chances are a giant slice of cake just popped right into your mind, didn't it? The effort to push the thought away actually made it even more powerful.
So what on earth is driving this internal battle? Well, the book introduces this really powerful metaphor for that problem-solving, command-giving part of our mind. It's called the dictator within. You know this voice. It's the one that's constantly analyzing, judging, and telling you what to do. Its job is to fix problems in the outside world and keep you safe. But, and this is a huge but, when it turns that same logic inward onto our own feelings, well, the results can be absolutely disastrous. And here's the crucial part. This dictator turns your inner world into a battlefield. It treats your own feelings, your own memories, as enemies that have to be defeated. And this exact cycle of suffering is something the author himself experienced firsthand, and it nearly broke him. Which brings us to the author's own story of hitting rock bottom. And this wasn't just a crisis for him. It was the very moment that gave birth to this entire new approach. So, after years of battling severe anxiety, one night in 1981, Dr. Hayes wakes up with this stabbing pain. He is utterly convinced he's having a heart attack. After a desperate rush to the doctor, the diagnosis comes back. It was just another panic attack, and he had just hit a wall. His mind had become so powerful it could perfectly fake a life-threatening event. He was done running.
And as he sat there, on his living room floor, having completely given up the fight, something totally unexpected happened. You see, hitting rock bottom wasn't the end. It was a doorway.
He realized he had this other choice, one that was a full 180 degrees in the other direction. Instead of fighting harder, what if he just chose to feel it, all of it, with no defense? And that right there was the pivot, from rigidity to flexibility.
And this became his new, unconditional promise to himself. I will not run from me. No more running from his own thoughts, his own feelings, or his memories. From that point on, he and his experiences would succeed or fail together, like a team. Okay, so that's a powerful story. But how do we actually do this pivot? Well, the book lays out a set of skills for building what it calls psychological flexibility. One of the most important skills is something called diffusion. Now, it's not about changing your thoughts, it's about changing your relationship to them. It's all about learning to see your thoughts for what they actually are, just words and images, not literal truths or commands you have to obey. This slide shows a really simple physical way to get what diffusion is all about.
So, imagine a difficult thought, like "I'm a failure," is written on the palm of your hand. Now hold your hand right up to your face. See how it blocks your view of everything else? That's what it's like to be fused with a thought. Now slowly lower your hand. The thought is still there, but now you can see both it and the world around you. You've created perspective. That is diffusion.
And get this isn't just some nice little metaphor. It has real measurable effects. One lab study showed that a simple diffusion exercise increased people's tolerance for physical pain by nearly 40%. 40%! That's the power of creating just a little bit of space from your mind.
Ultimately, when you start putting these skills together, you realize they're not just about managing pain. They're about reorienting your entire life around what you truly, deeply care about. And this leads to the final, and maybe the most crucial pivot of all. Moving away from a life spent desperately trying to feel good, and shifting towards a life where you just get good at feeling. That means being open to all of it, the joy and the pain, in the service of what matters most to you. It's about living a life guided by your values, not by trying to avoid discomfort.
And that leaves us with the central challenge of a liberated mind. This isn't about finding some magic trick to erase your pain. It's about a willingness to open up, to turn towards your own experience, and to build a life of purpose, one chosen step at a time.